Welcome, everyone. It is the end of the Memorial Day weekend. We are back with the Book Fairies Read-a-Thon fundraiser for our third annual Read-a-Thon fundraiser, celebrating 10 years of distributing books and 3.3 million books distributed. We are here today, super excited. This is going to be a fun live reading, ending out the month and really giving you guys a little glimpse of what might be happening in a couple of months here at the Book Fairies. We have ROBBI BEHR and Matthew Swanson with us. Hi, ROBBI and Matthew.
Hello.
Hi, friends.
Hello.
Nice to see you, Eileen. Thanks for having us.
Yes, we're super excited. And you're going to go into a little bit about what we're going to be doing, what you're going to be doing, and that we're going to be a tiny little piece of, but we're excited to be a tiny little piece of it. You are in control. I'm going to take I'm not even going to go into anything. We're going to let you handle the screen, and I'll be back when I get a hint that you need me back.
Okay,
excellent.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Now. Hello, everyone.
Welcome, teachers and students. Let's give you a very brief sense of what we're going to do.
Okay.
ROBBI and I are going to do a presentation. We're going to introduce ourselves, talk about our work, talk about the Cookie Chronicles. Then we're going to talk a little bit about our big upcoming adventure, and we're going to tell you how to follow along with it. Then we're going to do a drawing tutorial. So everyone out there, make sure you have a paper. Yep. We're going to teach you how to draw a dog named Dumbles. And then teachers, I know you might have to go, but if there is still time, we're going to answer as many questions as you have time for. So that's the order of business.
We will stick around for a little bit longer. If it goes over. If you have to leave, that's okay.
All right.
So, all right. Let's just dive right in. I'm going to start sharing my screen.
Please do.
So everyone, hold your horses. Here we go.
Eileen, tell us if
Please pop in and tell us if it does not say our Facebook and YouTube. Okay. I'm just going to start. We're going to start.
Here we
go.
So
here we are. So my name is ROBBI BEHR. I have the best job in the world. I am an illustrator, which means I draw pictures for books.
I am Matthew Swanson. I'm an author. I also weirdly have the best job in the world. Maybe it's a tie, but I'm a writer. I get to sit at my desk all day long and write stories. That is my job. So, I think it's a pretty good job. Yeah,
it's a pretty good job, I will admit. So today we're going to talk to you about our book series called Cookie Chronicles.
Yes.
Which is about a boy named Ben who takes the fortune cookies that he reads very, very seriously.
All right. So more about that soon. First, a little bit about us. ROBBI.
Yes.
Tell us.
For starters, we are married.
We are. It's why we like each other so much. Or maybe it's the other way around. I'm not sure. Just so you know, friends, if you write a book, you do not have to marry the person who illustrates that book.
No, it's
not a rule.
It's not a rule. It's not even necessarily something that we would recommend.
Also, we have created 4 small people known as children, and their names are Alden, Kato, August, and Jasper. Yes.
You also do not have to have 4 children with the person you make books with.
No,
all right?
Not a good idea. We also have a ridiculous little dog named Dumbles who happens to be named after a character in the Cookie Chronicles series, which we will teach you to draw after we stop talking. So,
yes. Oh my gosh. So we definitely recommend getting a ridiculous dog. Up to you whether you name him Dumbles or not.
Not a requirement.
Right? Not a requirement.
All 7 of us live in this building, which is an old barn on the eastern shore of Maryland, in the little town where ROBBI grew up.
Yes. Yeah. So once upon a time, back in the day, our barn was a parking garage for horses who spent the night in our town.
Okay, if you visit us, don't bring your horse.
No
more horses allowed. Now, the hay loft that used to have the hay for the horses is full of ROBBI. In fact, it's where we're sitting right now.
Yes, this is my drawing studio. A studio is just a word for an office, right? For an artist. So that's where we are right now.
Here we go.
All right. So believe it or not, even though I have this giant room to work in, I actually spend most of my time sitting in the corner. Not because I'm in a timeout, but because that is where this desk is, where we're sitting right now. This is sort of my command central. So you can see that I have 2 computer screens, and I also have this giant tablet to my left, and that's what I use to draw on. That's what I use to draw all of the illustrations in Cookie Chronicles on.
On the other side of the wall over there is my writing studio, and unlike ROBBI, I do all of my work on the computer because my handwriting is terrible.
It's bad.
All right, so friends,
we've been making books together for about 18 years now. That's a very long time.
Much longer than you've been alive. Back when we first started making books, we printed them out on our own printer, and we cut them with a knife, and we stapled them together on our dining room table. And friends, this process is called self-publishing because you do it yourself.
You do it yourself. So we did this for about 10 years. We made about 70 books this way, and we want you all to know that you can do the exact same thing.
All right, look at this picture. If you remember one thing we say today, it's this. If you want to write, all you have to do is write. If you want to make a book, just do it.
Yes, if you want to be an illustrator, just draw those pictures. If you want to make a book, you can get started today. It's actually not as complicated as it seems.
All right, that's enough about us. At the beginning, we promised that we would talk about these books. the first 3 books
in the Cookie Chronicles series.
So people always say, Matthew, how do you get the idea for your books? And so I started writing Cookie Chronicles the way I start writing anything, which is that I sit down at my computer and I follow one simple rule. Don't think, just write.
I gotta say, this sounds a little bit like terrible advice, but maybe it works.
You definitely use your brain. But when you write without thinking too hard about it, things tend to come more easily. Writer's block is when you think too hard and you say, I can't write that. I'm not a good enough writer. This story's not interesting. Don't listen to that. Just write. If you write without thinking, words and ideas come more easily. That's how it works for me anyway.
So,
all right, so one day, while not thinking and just writing, I wrote this magnificent paragraph. Robbie, please share it with our friends.
All right, I'm going to read this paragraph. Stan ate so many noodles because he loved noodles, and the noodles were there and no one said he could not eat them.
Right.
After the noodles, he ate fried dumplings and wonton soup. After the soup, he picked up a fortune cookie.
Okay, so friends, as the time I wrote these words, they didn't seem very interesting. A guy eats some noodles and picks up a cookie. No, that's pretty boring, right? So I closed my computer and I said, ugh, and I forgot about it for 6 months.
But luckily, he did not forget about it forever.
No, about 6 months later, I remembered this paragraph and I wondered if maybe there was something interesting hidden inside it. Not in the part about eating the noodles, but in that last sentence, after the soup, he picked up a fortune cookie.
All right, so I don't know if any of you have had fortune cookies, but this is what they are. They're these strangely shaped, sort of crunchy cookies that are hollow inside. They're just folded up into a little pocket. So tucked inside of each one is a tiny strip of paper with a prediction or some kind of advice printed on it.
And I started wondering about the fortune inside of Stan's cookie and what he felt about it or what he thought about it.
And that's when Matthew had that great idea that turned a rather boring paragraph, I'm going to say it, Matthew, a rather boring paragraph into an entire book series.
And here was the idea, friends. What happens if you take a fortune and take what it says way too seriously, right? As Ben, it turns out Ben is a lot like me when I was his age. Very earnest and taking things very seriously and literally.
Just like you do,
Just
right?
like I did, yeah.
So fortune cookie fortunes can be really confusing because they are almost never literal, all right? So they're these short little sayings that try to explain very complicated things in a sentence that'll fit on a slip of paper that'll go inside of a cookie.
There's a special word for this kind of phrase, and it's called a proverb.
All right. So this kind of phrase, proverbs are short sayings that give advice or express truth.
But proverbs aren't usually literal. They use figurative language or metaphorical language.
All right. So I don't know if you've learned about similes or metaphors yet. You're going to get a crash course right now.
Right.
So just to remind you, if you have learned about these, similes and metaphors are figurative language. So when we've been talking about figurative language, similes, metaphors, they put a picture in your head that makes it easier to imagine what it is that somebody's talking about.
All right. Let me give you an example. If we have a sentence that says, Jenny had long blonde hair, that is a literal language. It's saying things as they actually are. So the picture this sentence puts in my head anyway is of a girl with hair that is long and blonde.
Right. So this is my picture of Jenny with long blonde hair.
But what if instead I got a little experimental and I said, Jenny's hair was a flowing golden river.
Ooh. All right. So now that is a metaphor, right? Was Jenny's hair actually a river?
No, it's not its hair.
Was it actually flowing?
Not really.
No, probably not. But the picture it puts in your head gives you a more vivid idea of what kind of hair Jenny had, right? So here she is with her flowing hair. All right. And you might be thinking, okay, well, that metaphor doesn't really make her look all that different.
But what if I instead said Jenny's hair was a ratty old nest?
All right. Now, suddenly that picture of Jenny in your head probably looks a lot different, right? And maybe this messy hair tells us something about Jenny that just saying that she had long blonde hair doesn't.
Does it mean she has actual rats in her hair, Robbie?
Oh my goodness. I hope not. No. I hope not.
That would turn this into a totally different story.
Very different story.
The point is, by using metaphors, figurative language, proverbs allow a writer to cram a lot of information and interesting pictures into just a few words.
Right. So getting back to our friend Ben, in every book in this series, he gets a new fortune, right? So the fortune that he gets in book 1, the Cookie of Doom, is live each day as if it were your last.
So Ben, being a literal-minded guy like Matthew Swanson, actually believes it's his last day and that he has to do all the things he's always wanted to do before the clock strikes night. But there are so many things Ben wants to do.
So he starts off by making a list of all of the things. So the first thing on the list is eat a piece of cake. This sounds pretty easy, right?
Right.
But the cake that Ben eats is the last piece of his parents' wedding cake that they had been saving to eat on their anniversary. So Ben gets in big trouble for eating it.
Ben has also always wanted to jump over his neighbor's really high hedge, and he almost makes it, but he messes up and he gets his neighbor's cat completely covered with paint. It's very bad.
Oh no, it's very bad news. Ben and his mom managed to get a cake to replace the one that Ben ate. In order to sneak it into the house, Ben has to distract his dad by faking an injury.
And so on and so on. For a while, it seems like Ben's last day is going to be his worst day.
Now, before you get too sad,
Don't get sad.
I'm going to give you a little bit of a spoiler.
Oh.
Tiny, tiny spoiler.
Okay.
At the end of the book, we find out that it is not Ben's last day,
No.
right? He survives, which is good since there's, I don't know, how many more books in
There
the
are
series
6
now?
more books in this series.
Yes, we just sold a couple more. So
All right.
6 more books in this series, right?
So if it's Ben's last day, if it's not his last day,
Mhm.
what does the fortune actually
Mhm.
mean? We think it's trying to remind us to live every day as fully as you can.
Yes, because life is precious
Mhm.
and you should be sure not to waste it, right? Which could be its own proverb, but it doesn't have quite the same vivid picture that it puts in your head if you're telling you to live it as if it's going to be your last,
But the
right?
exciting language really works for Ben, okay?
Mhm.
Because he takes his fortune so seriously, he ends up doing a few things that weren't on his list to begin with.
Like giving his best friend Janet a really terrible
And
haircut,
baking a cake with his mom.
and playing catch with his dad.
These things all mean a lot to Ben. So weirdly, his misunderstanding actually ends up working out for him.
Mhm.
All right.
Now, in book 2,
Yeah.
Ben gets a new fortune.
This time it's good things come to those who wait.
Now, Ben immediately knows the good things that he wants.
Very reasonable things.
Mhm.
A mustache, a little brother, and the ability to fly.
Aha.
Easy, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But Ben thinks that the fortune means he'll only get those things if he just waits
Hmm.
and he does nothing else, right?
Uh-huh.
So he stops doing his homework, he stops doing his chores, he decides not to apologize to his best friend Janet because none of those things is waiting.
How do you think this approach is going to work, my friends? Is skipping his homework and chores going to make him get a mustache faster?
No,
No.
he'll get one eventually,
Yeah.
perhaps, no matter what he does or doesn't do, but it's going to take a lot of time and patience.
Ben wants a little brother. Will refusing to do his chores and homework help with that?
No, and no matter how long he waits, that one is not up to Ben. It's up to his parents.
What about being able to fly? Will
Mhm.
waiting help with that?
No, sir, no. This one is actually physically impossible, right? No matter how long he waits, this one is never going to happen.
So Ben's interpretation of his fortune doesn't get him any closer to the things he wants. So where's he going wrong? So let's read the fortune again. Good things come to those who wait.
All right, Ben got a little bit focused on the waiting part, but what if we focus on the good things instead?
Well, what are the really good things in life?
How about friendship,
Yeah.
right? It takes time to build a good friendship. It takes time to really get to know someone and establish trust with them.
Sometimes being a good friend can be hard, right?
Mhm.
And it takes a lot of doing, showing up, being honest.
And of course, apologizing when you need to.
How about growing up? That's a good thing, right?
Mhm.
Your kids now, eventually you're going to be adults with your own lives and jobs and cars and maybe even your own mustaches.
If you're lucky,
yeah.
or if you're unlucky, I don't know. So all of that takes time, right? You're not just sitting around waiting for it to happen.
No, you're doing stuff all the time, every single day.
Yes. So we think the fortune really means the good things in life take a long time to develop, but the patience is worth it. But again, not as short and memorable, is it?
For me, a good thing that can take a while is writing a book, right? I have to wait sometimes for the book to become as good as it can be. The first time I tried to write the story about Stan, it wasn't that interesting. It wasn't even a finished idea.
Right. But when Matthew waited, he waited for that 6 months. He came back to it later.
Yeah.
And that's what set off the spark that was the idea for an entire series, right?
So here's a tip for anyone who's trying to make something, whether you're writing a book or painting a mural or designing a race car. Sometimes you have to leave your project or your idea alone for a while and let your brain come back to it fresh later on.
Yes. So if you ever find yourself especially frustrated with a project or think it's no good or whatever, don't just give up or throw it away,
No.
right? Hold on to it. Come back to it later because there might be a great idea hidden inside there that you just didn't see the first time around.
But if you stick with it and if you're patient, it will eventually be perfect.
Hold on a second,
Well,
Mom.
I said it will eventually be perfect, Robbie.
No. Have you ever even read the third book in the series, Ben Yokoyama and the Cookie of Perfection, Matthew?
I haven't read that book recently, but I did write it.
Did
And if
write
I
it.
remember right, Ben gets a fortune that says practice makes perfect.
Yes, which is welcome news to Ben because his life is anything but perfect.
Right. His mom keeps burning the pancakes, and Ben, all he wants in life, friends, is pancakes that aren't burnt.
Yes. His dad puts his favorite baseball jersey in the laundry with a chapstick, gets it all greasy.
For the record, I would never do something like this.
That is a false statement. Matthew does this all the time. All our clothes have little chapstick marks on them.
Moving on from this. The most important thing of all, Ben's best friend Janet is always late to meet him for their walk to school, which Ben finds really frustrating.
For the record, I am never late for anything.
For the record, Robbie's always late for everything. It's a miracle she wasn't late for this today. All right.
All right. So to make things worse, Ben is not perfect himself, which he finds even more frustrating.
He's not good at baseball, as he wants to be.
No. Every time he plays the piano, he always messes up on the tricky parts.
He always messes up at least one question on math tests, and all Ben wants is to get a perfect score.
So, after getting his fortune, Ben decides to practice until he is perfect at all of these things.
But no matter how much he practices, Ben still can't play the piano perfectly.
No, because the song that he's trying to learn is really, really
And
hard.
he can't get a perfect score on his math test because his teacher always includes one impossible question.
And he doesn't become a perfect baseball player because even the best players in the world only hit the ball, I find this hard to believe, about 1/3 of the time.
Here's what Ben doesn't realize, and apparently Robbie. Practice will make you better at many things, but it will not make perfect because perfection is impossible.
Impossible.
Yeah.
But this isn't a bad thing. If you were perfect, life would be pretty boring because you'd have nothing to learn.
If the players hit the baseball every single time, baseball games wouldn't be very exciting,
Yes,
right?
and they'd last forever. They
Right.
would never end.
No.
So if perfection isn't possible, what does the fortune really mean?
It means if you want to do something better, you have to work at it.
Yes. So Matthew wrote his very first book when he was 12 years old, but it was not perfect.
In fact, my friends, it was very bad.
No,
All right.
it wasn't very bad. It was just passable. All right.
Fair
But he did not give up.
No,
right.
no.
He kept practicing and practicing. And now he's written more than 80 books. And he actually keeps getting better and better, I have to say.
But I know my books will never be perfect.
Yeah.
All right. But my goal is to keep writing better and better books by practicing all the time, by being patient, and by writing each day as if it were my
He
last.
does that indeed. So lucky for Matthew, there are thousands of fortune cookies and proverbs to choose from as he thinks of new Cookie Chronicles ideas.
There are tons of proverbs in the world. People use them all the time, so you're going to hear them a lot. It's helpful to know what they mean. It's kind of like learning new vocabulary words.
Yes.
The more you know, the more sense the world is going to make.
So we're going to share a few of our favorites.
Okay,
All
here we
right.
go.
First off, the early bird gets the worm.
Okay, now, Robbie,
Yes.
is this a literal language?
No, my goodness, this is not about birds or
No.
worms at all, right? It actually means if you show up first, you're more likely to get the thing that you want.
But that's not a very interesting way to say it. Right? That's kind of boring language. It's too long. The proverb says the same thing in a quicker, more interesting way by putting a picture in your head, which makes it easier to understand and easier to remember.
All right. So to help you out, I
Yeah.
drew this picture that I had in my head. Here he is.
You can choose your own picture if you want. You don't have to have that in your head. Come up with your own, friends.
All right. So here's another proverb. Don't bite off more than you can chew. You might have heard this one.
Once again, though, this is not literal. It's not about food at all. It's about realizing that we all have a limited amount of time or energy in any given day and shouldn't overdo it.
Yes. But the proverb puts a picture in your head, right? That's easier to picture and to relate to.
That's right. Especially for my friend Robbie here, who often literally bite off more than she can chew.
This is a perfectly reasonable amount of ice
This
cream.
is
This
what it
is
looks like.
not too much for me to chew.
Every day after dinner, setting a terrible example for our children.
All right.
Okay, here's another one we like.
Here we go. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. This one's a little tricky.
This is complicated, but really important.
All right. So what it means is people and places and pieces of art aren't beautiful or ugly.
No.
Beautiful and ugly are matters of opinion.
Right.
Beholding something means looking at it. So beauty is in the eye of the person who is looking at it, right? So that is your opinion, what you see,
That's
if
right.
it's beautiful or not.
You get to decide whether you think something is beautiful or not.
Right. No one can tell you that you're wrong, right? Your opinions belong to you.
For example, my friends, you get to decide whether this dead vine, poison ivy vine covered with shaggy, furry yuck is beautiful or not.
Beautiful. That's why I took that picture.
No,
I thought it was beautiful.
No, this is not beautiful, in my opinion. But you get to decide
Yes.
whether this painting by Yves Tanguy is beautiful or not. I love this painting. It fills me with calm. I wish I could walk around in this world.
This creeps me out, and I do not like it. It makes me feel itchy inside like poison ivy.
I would like to tell Robbie she's wrong, but I cannot because that's her opinion. All right.
And the funny thing is, we're both right? Because we're both entitled to our own opinion.
On a related note, here's one we like very much. 2 heads are better than 1. Now, this one would really frustrate our friend Ben because he'd have to figure out how to get an extra head, literally. Right.
But that's not what it's about. It's not about having 2 heads. It's actually about the way that Matthew and I work together.
By using what's inside both of our heads, we're able to do so many more things than we'd be able to do on our own.
Yes, just like how Ben and his best friend Janet work together to figure out what his fortune really means.
Putting our 2 heads together is our superpower.
Yes. It's also a superpower that you all can tap into.
All right, here's a proverb I love. I'm not sure how well known it is, but it helps me get through each day. Ready, friends? Undies first, pants second.
All right.
All right?
For the record, this is not an actual proverb. Matthew just made it up. All right. Also, it's literal. You do have to put your undies on first before you put your pants on.
Wrong. Okay. I'm sorry, but you're wrong, Robbie. This is an actual proverb because I wrote it. I'm a proverb writer because I say I am, just like our friends are proverb writers if they write a proverb. Also, this proverb isn't literal. It's about doing things in the right order. It could be written as socks before shoes.
I grant you that socks before shoes is also says the same thing, but not as interesting, not as memorable as the undies one.
I rest my case, Robbie. Please stand down. The point is, anyone can make a proverb. I hope that you will make proverbs to describe the things that you see and notice in life in interesting, short, compelling ways.
Yes.
All right. Yes.
All right. So here's one more I like. Don't judge a book by its cover.
Okay. Once again, this isn't literal.
No, it's not about books at all.
No, it means don't think you just know somebody by how they look on the outside.
Yes.
Don't do that.
No, you have to open that book up and read the insides, figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. But we're going to give you special permission to judge our books how they look, mostly because we really, really like these covers.
All right, friends. There are 3 Cookie Chronicles books out so far. Book 4, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, just to recap, we've got Ben Yokoyama and the Cookie of Doom. That's book 1. Book 2 is Ben Yokoyama and the Cookie of Endless Waiting. Book 3 is Ben Yokoyama and the Cookie of Perfection.
And you heard a little bit about each of those. Ben Yokoyama and the Cookie Thief comes out in September.
Yes.
Ben Yokoyama and the Cookies of Chaos comes out next spring. And I'm currently writing Ben Yokoyama and the Cookie War, book 6.
I just finished illustrating book 5. So.
So Robbie wants me to stop writing for a while, but I'm not going to do it. All right. Remember what we said at the beginning, friends?
Anyone can be an author or an illustrator.
You just have to decide to do it. Before we started writing books like the Cookie Chronicles with a big publishing company, we made every single book in this photo by ourselves on our dining room table.
Yes. Nobody told us what we could or couldn't make. We just made these books because we wanted to.
And we want you to remember you can do this too.
Yes. A book is really just a stack of papers that are attached at one end, right? That's all that it is.
Which means you can take a book, make a book by taking a piece of paper and folding in half. Okay.
Yes.
This is a book. It's a very short.
That's a 4-page book right
All
there.
right.
Yes. If you want your book to be a little bit longer, take a few pieces of paper and fold them in half together,
if
right?
you want to make it sturdier so it doesn't fall apart, add a couple of staples.
There you go. If you want to make it look a little bit fancy, put a piece of colored tape over those staples,
But
right?
just remember, there's nothing mysterious or magical or impossible to make about a book.
Yes, you can make one if you want to, anytime. You can do it today.
Your book might just have words.
Oh, it's probably not going to look like this. This is a pretty famous
you
book.
can paint it
You could probably make it look like this. It would take a long time.
But it doesn't have to.
It doesn't have
All
to.
right.
Or it could be a book with just drawings,
Or
right?
your book might have both. It might be comics. It might be a graphic novel. It can be whatever you want it to be.
Yes, indeed. You can make it yourself.
Or you can find a friend and have someone make it with you.
Yes, your book can be about whatever you want it to be.
I used to get really confused about the meaning of Proverbs when I was a kid. So I wrote a book about a kid who gets confused about the meaning of Proverbs.
So Matthew is the only person in the world who could have written the Cookie Chronicles the way that it's written.
And you are the only person in the world who can write the stories that are inside of you.
Or create the drawings that are inside of you.
Or just frankly see the world through your eyes.
Right. Whether or not you make a book, we want you to look around at the world, notice those things that you find interesting or beautiful, right?
Even if they're things that make other people feel itchy inside. Who cares? Your opinions.
Yes, we want you to use your experiences to write stories or draw pictures.
Because every experience you have, every single one, has a story hidden inside of it.
Yes. We want you to live each day as if it were your last.
Because that will make every day you live the best day that it can be.
Yes. We want you to remember that some good things come from waiting and patience.
But some things you just have to do.
Yes. If you want to write a book or make some art.
Don't wait. Do it now.
Yes. But also remember, it might take a while for your project to become whatever it is that you want it to be, right? But if you stick with it, you'll get there eventually.
But remember, it's never going to be perfect, and that's okay.
Yes. So we can't wait to see what you guys do.
Okay, so we said we were going to talk about our new trip or our new adventure coming up. We don't have a lot of time, so we're going to go kind of quickly.
We're going to go kind of fast.
All right, so we are going to spend next year on the Busload of Books tour. Now, what that means is our family purchased a 24-foot school bus that our friend Brian is turning into a little house with a kitchen and beds and everything for us. And we are going to spend the year visiting schools in all 50 states. So we're going to drive to every state. We're going to give presentations like this one. We are going to give away a book to every single student and teacher we meet. And we're going to schools where there aren't a lot of books, places where people could use books, where they want books but don't have access to them. Okay. This is what our bus looked like a couple of months ago.
Yes.
When Brian took all the seats out.
Took all the seats out of it.
And
you know, here's our friend Brian.
Oh, we love him.
We've put the floor tiling in.
There we go.
Looks very. We thought we like the little checkered.
Looks like a school.
A little like school flooring.
And there's going to 6 of us. We have 4 kids and 2 people and 1 dog. So everybody gets 1 locker. Yeah. Here's some lockers. All right. And our kids, people say, where are the kids going to sleep? There's not enough room. Our kids are going to sleep on the roof. Look,
yes. We got a pop-up tent to go on the top of the bus.
All right.
Where the children are going to sleep.
All right. So we also have put a mural. Do you have a picture of the mural? Okay.
Oh, I don't know.
We are going to put a spectacular mural. All right. Robbie was supposed to put a picture of the mural. She forgot. You'll have to imagine it. We're going to show you our social media so you can look, but we have a huge mural that wraps all the way around the bus. I want to show them, friends, if you are the type of person who enjoys listening to books, I recorded audio versions of all the Cookie Chronicles books, and Robbie records an interview at the end so you can hear her voice, my voice.
Short little thing.
Teachers, we are going to be chronicling every step of our journey next year on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. Instagram is probably the best way to follow us.
And just note that my name is not spelled with an E at the end. It's ROBBI .Matthew.
One of the most exciting things about our tour is that on September 25th, next fall, we are going to go to the Book Fairies warehouse, and we're going to sort books with our family and members of the community that come by. So if you're in the area, come join us. We're really excited about this. Thank you to the Book Fairies for giving us a chance to talk to you today and for collaborating with us next fall. Eileen, I see you've returned. What would you like to say?
I would like to say you guys are great. Thank you so much for all that you're doing for us. You were like lots of energy. You guys are great. And also I wanted to let you know that we have some questions here.
Okay.
And I'm just going to read a couple of the questions, and then I was going to take you guys out and the kids out into the Book Fairies warehouse where we could kind of see where our action takes place and end out I'm looking for our chat. Where is our chat, Sam?
We have it over here.
Okay.
So we have some questions, and you know what? We could answer the questions while I do the drawing tutorial. Do we want to try to do that, or do we have not
it's up to you, Eileen.
We're kind of we're like at 10, we're like a half hour. So I think we might have to skip the drawing
that's
for now.
Fine. That's fine.
But maybe we can have you back for a special one during
We'd love it. Yeah.
Oh, we have Centennial Avenue School and Roosevelt is here. Yay.
Hi, friends.
They're a great friend of ours. Yes. I know Miss Levantis also, her class was there. I know one of the questions was, how long have you known each other and have you been drawing since you met each other?
So
that's a good question.
So Robbie and I met our freshman year of college, which was, I'm going to make us sound old now, 29 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Robbie saw me in a play my freshman year of college, and she said, what did you say? What did you say?
I was like, that guy's so cool.
So
seems like a cool guy to hang out
Then
with.
She got to know me better, realized I wasn't cool.
I was like, what was I thinking?
And then we took 4 years off. And then after college, we met again, and she was like, well,
all right. I'll hang out with him again.
He seems all right.
He seems all right.
We didn't start making books together until we'd known each other, and we were dating for about a year.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the thing that brought us together.
Yeah.
That was a great question. That was from Noel. Christopher, so Christopher wants to know, what year did you start writing books? But you kind of just answered that as well, right?
Well, that's when we started working them together. I made my first book in 6th grade when I was 12.
Yeah, and I made my first book in college as a college project. I wrote an illustrated children's book.
Yeah.
And as much as I liked it, I realized that I had some shortcomings in the writing department. So it's good that I found this guy.
So you know what? They did ask, are you going to show them how to illustrate a dog? Can we throw that in there?
Can you do it super fast?
Yeah. Okay.
Let's do it.
So get out your pencils and papers. And
you can do a 2-minute version.
We're going to draw a
2-minute version. And I'm going to hop back out so that they can see you.
Super quick version. All right. So hopefully you can see this. And we have this posted on our website if you can't keep up. All right. So step number 1, we're going to draw a rounded W.
Wait, it kind of looks like
not
a butt. It's not a butt?
It's not a butt. It's a rounded W.
All right.
Good. Next, we're going to draw up from the left-hand side of the W. and sort of hook it around like half of a clothes hanger
Okay.
or an open paper clip, a little triangle, right?
Good.
Then we're going to go from the end of that triangle straight across and down to the other side of the W.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Next,
Yes.
we are going to do a matching ear on this side, another triangle over
Nice.
here.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then in the middle of the rounded W, we're going to sort of balance a little oval on there. Now, if you're feeling a little feisty, you can do an oval with a
triple U.
A triple U down at the bottom. And you can color that in. That's Dumbles' nose. Next, you can give him a little smile. Depends on what or you can give him a frown. Maybe I'll give him a little straight across. I'm just going to give him
no expression.
No expression. Next, eyes. I'm going to show you a bunch of quick choices. You guys get to decide what you're going to do. Little dashes, that's just straight regular expression. You can do U's. That means he's either thinking or he's dreaming or he's kind of You can do upside down U's. Those are happy eyes. That means sometimes he's smiling or he's thinking happy thoughts. Or if you want him looking in a particular direction, you can do circles and dots, right? Okay, next, most important, eyebrows. Again, I'm going to give you some quick options, all right? We've got sort of angling down towards the outside, that's a little bit surprised. If you do upside down U's way over the head, wow, very surprised, right? If you do straight across, that's just regular, kind of thoughtful. You can do one straight across and one going up sort of at an angle as a J. That's a mystery, mysterious, something suspicious is happening. Or what's the last one? Angling down towards the nose, all of a sudden, so angry, look at that. So I'm not going to have him be angry. I'm going to have him be a little bit surprised. All right, next, we give him 3 little dots where his whiskers are. But let me tell you, do not draw whiskers in those whisker holes because then what happens?
He looks like a cat.
He turned into a cat. Wrong, he's not a cat, he's a dog. So there we go. You can draw his little collar on there. Dumbles has a bone-shaped collar. And then you can draw his body however you want. You can do his little feet. This is the easiest way, just have him sitting. This was the super speedy tutorial.
You did a good job, Robbie.
I didn't give you very much time.
I'm impressed. No, you got all the info in. Our friends have some basics. If you want to make your own book, now you know how to draw Dumbles with a lot of different expressions.
And so you can also draw a cat with those same different expressions, because if you just add the whiskers to Dumbles, he becomes a cat.
Go make book, friends, if you want to make books. Whatever you want to do, go do it and practice it, and you'll keep getting better.
Yes.
Eileen, we return to you.
Yes.
That's great. So that's great. It looks like there's some budding artists in one of the classes.
Good.
Yeah, you just gave some great tutorials there. So we're so excited for you. So what I want to also say to everybody that's here and watching this or in the future is that you guys are going to be coming to us on September 25th with your school bus, which is a Sunday. So people can come down and meet you guys and see the school bus, and you're going to be actually helping us sort. And I'm just going to take you guys, everybody, to where we're going to be. You're going to be helping us sort in our warehouse. So this is where the action takes place. So you're at the Book Fairies warehouse in Freeport. And this is all the books that come into us when we are here. Look at all the books that are being sorted.
I see people sorting as we speak.
Coming in here.
Hello, friends. Good work, you sorting people.
You guys are live on Facebook.
Good to see you all. All right. Thank you for your great work that you're doing on behalf of Books and Kids. We love it.
Thank you guys. These are all books that are going to be coming to. We give them to some of the kids that are on the screen right now. These are boxes and boxes of books that have been carefully packed and culled through. And, we're so excited to have you guys here and ending out our read-a-thon for 2022 and looking forward to years ahead of good stuff happening and meeting you guys in person in September. So come on down, meet Matt and Robbie, and learn a little bit more about the Book Fairies and all the good stuff they're doing about book deserts throughout the country. Thank you guys for all your help and support. See you in September.
Thank you.
It was our pleasure. Nice to meet all our new friends.
Great to see you, everyone.
Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, friends.